guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariana. I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks about moving to Dallas, living in Dallas, learning Dallas. I moved to Dallas 2 years ago, almost 2.5 years ago, and this is everything that I wish I had known before I moved to Dallas. So I'm gonna give you guys tips and tricks. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of pros and cons in this video. It's just gonna be a little bit of everything in this video. So if you guys are interested in seeing more about Dallas, please keep watching. Okay, what you guys need to know before moving to Dallas. This is everything that I learned. Well, not everything, this is probably gonna be part one. There's a lot of things that I learned about Dallas before moving to Dallas, and a lot of things that I learned about Dallas while living in Dallas, okay? So I have my notes here. I'm just gonna go over that. Before moving to Dallas, I did a ton of research. I was on TikTok, I was on YouTube, I was on Instagram. Like, I was obsessed. I was Dallas obsessed. With being on TikTok, I found this girl. Her name is Kelsey Elise, I think her name is, and she's a really big TikToker, really big YouTuber as well. So I started following her and I found out about this app called Geneva. Now on Geneva, it is predominantly Dallas based, I wanna say. When I first got on Geneva in 2023, I was so obsessed with Geneva. I started adding, it's like a platform. It's like a chat room, I guess. Geneva really helped center me here in Dallas. I was so obsessed with Geneva. I was on there. I was joining all these homes on Geneva. To explain Geneva a little bit better, which is kind of hard to explain, Geneva is like a platform that has multiple different homes or group chats. These homes are ran by individuals. With the home being ran by individuals, there's different areas in the home, like different rooms in the home that you guys can join into and find a community. So let's just say the home is called Dallas. Inside the Dallas home, you're gonna find a room that says, hey, girls meetup, or pet parents, or looking for roommates, or nice places to eat. And you can go into that room and chat with other people who might have any other recommendations or drink recommendations or things like that. I hope I explained that correctly. Oh my God. But anyways, I came across Geneva, and in Geneva, I was so obsessed with it that I created my own home, and it's called Dallas 30 Plus Ladies, I believe, something along those lines. But yes, as we all know, I'm 30 plus. So I created this group because all the other homes that I was in had nothing but 20-year-olds. Absolutely nothing but 20-year-olds. And they were like, oh, let's go here, let's go there. And I'm like, I'm in my 30s. I don't wanna do all of that stuff that you guys are doing. So I created my own group. They're Dallas 30 Plus Ladies. It's all ladies, all 30 plus, and there's different rooms in there, like, oh, I'm vegetarian or vegan, or where would you guys, food recommendations, drink recommendations, bar recommendations, church recommendations. So you can go into those little areas and you can find different things that people are interested in, and people will post in there, or job recommendations or anything like that. So you can go in there and figure out what other people are interested in, and then somebody else might say, oh, I highly recommend Standard Pour, or I highly recommend Honor Bar for our girls meetup. You can be like, oh, I want to be down for that. Can it join? Let me join, so on and so forth. There's events. I started a home inside Geneva, Dallas 30 Plus Ladies, and it grew so big. As of right now, we're sitting at almost 700 members. And this is all before I flew to Dallas to live here. I created my first meetup. We had our first meetup at, I wanna say it's Toulouse Cafe or Toulouse Restaurant near the Katy Trail. We went to Toulouse. It was about 5 or 10 of us. I can't remember. I think it started with like 10 of us and then it dwindled down. Walked over to RH rooftop, and We had some drinks, we got to meet each other and commingle and talk to each other, and it was a really great experience. And then as of right now, the group that I've started, we're doing game nights on Tuesdays, so it's kind of fun. One thing that I highly recommend when you are first moving to Dallas is joining some type of group. I joined Geneva. Geneva was amazing because I got to learn names of different places like bars, restaurants, areas, places to live. I started learning about these different things because people in that group was talking about it. So I highly recommend Geneva. If you guys are 30 plus, join my group, Dallas 30 plus ladies. Definitely still accepting people. Like I said, we are at roughly 700 members. And probably when we hit 1,000, I might do a huge group meetup and we could just do something really cool and really fun. But as of right now, we are doing game nights on Tuesdays. It's not every single Tuesday, but it's on Tuesdays. So if you guys are interested in that, I highly recommend it. That helped me get my start. Like I said, I started joining lots of people's that I found on like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. I started joining their homes on Geneva, and it turned out to be pretty successful. I was able to familiarize myself with Dallas. Outside of that, I opened up a map. I'm a map girly. Like, I will open up a map. My Apple's map is perfectly perfect. I open up my Apple's map and I just look at different areas. I pinpoint different places that I would want to visit. After being on TikTok says, oh, this place is amazing. I'll go to my Apple's map and I'll pin it. And then TikTok says, oh, this place is amazing. I go to my Apple's map and then I pin it. So that's something that I was doing. I have lots and lots of pins on my Apple map just because those are the places and those are the things that I was thinking, hey, if I was in Dallas, this is when I want to come visit. So I started familiarizing myself. How far is this? How far is that? That's this far. I'm thinking I'm moving to Dallas. So if this is in Plano, it's 20 minutes away. If this is in Richardson, so I started familiarizing myself with location, everything like that, all before I moved. Before I even bought my plane ticket, all before I moved, I was kind of obsessed with Dallas. So I just started researching, TikToking, Instagramming, and YouTubing everything Dallas. Familiarize yourself. When you want to be at least familiarized with locations. Oh, I've heard about that. I wanted to join that. I wanted to check that place out. I wanted to eat at that place. Like, be very, very, very familiar with your surroundings. And that's with any place that you go to. Like, don't just go there and just be la la la, like research it. If you went on a solo trip, anywhere you'd research it. Where am I gonna stay? What are some cool places to eat? What are some cool areas to visit? Do the same thing when you're moving to Dallas specifically. So Geneva app, opening up your maps. Boom. Those are the first things that I did. One thing that I realized is that not a lot of places, but I know Miami for sure, and I might have mentioned this in another video. I know Miami for sure. I know for sure Dallas. Those are the two places that I know for sure. They have apartment locators. They are real estate agents that have teamed up with these certain companies that help people find apartments. It is completely free to you, the person looking for the apartment. It basically, the apartment complex pays the real estate agent like a referral fee. So that's kind of how apartment locating works. For my first apartment, I did use an apartment locator, and I am moving in like 60 days. Literally 60 days, I am moving, and I'm using another apartment locator. Not the same one, but I'm using another apartment locator. So with this apartment locator, what they do, and this is, I highly recommend you doing this before you actually move to Dallas, is just have them give you a bunch of different apartments that you can look at online that have all the criteria that you're looking for. I want a washer and dryer inside of my apartment. I want a walk-in shower. I want a townhome. I want an apartment. I want a condo. Like, let your apartment locator know all of your criteria. I want a yard. I want a front yard. I want a backyard. I want a garage. Maybe I don't want an apartment. Maybe, like I said, I want a townhome, or maybe I want a house for rent or something along those lines. Your apartment locator can help you find these specific things that you're looking for. They will send you a website link of all the apartments that have your criteria. Make sure you incorporate your budget. So on the low end, I want an apartment that's $1,500. I want a 1-bedroom. I want an in-unit washer and dryer. I want a walk-in shower. I want it to be pet friendly. I want a little dog park, dog washing station. I want to make sure there's a pool. I want it to be luxurious. Like, you let your apartment locator know everything that you need to know or everything that you want for your apartment, and they will send you a little link with all the apartments that meet your criteria. You're gonna click on the link, you're gonna click on the apartment, you're gonna go to the website, you're gonna see where the area is. Oh, also tell your apartment locator what areas you wanna live in: Plano, Richardson, Addison, Keller, I don't know, McKinney, Allen, Dallas, Oak Lawn, wherever you wanna live, Highland Park, things like that. They're gonna send you a link, you're gonna click on the link, you're gonna click on the apartment, you're gonna click on the apartment's website, you're gonna look at the apartment and all its amenities. And then they will even set up tours for you. As of right now, I'm going through the process. In a couple of days, I'm gonna be looking at tours for apartments in Plano, for apartments in Little Elm, for apartments in McKinney. And then I'm gonna do that Monday and Tuesday and try to see as many apartments as I can. But she set up tours for me. I don't have to set up tours. When they set up tours, the apartment complex will contact you and get more specific. So they'll call you and be like, hey, Ariana, what are you looking for? Blah, 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 blah. And then you'll just repeat exactly what they're looking for. And you'll actually be able to talk to the apartment complex and not the third party, which is your apartment locator. All you have to do, if you use an apartment locator, is list the apartment locator's name on your application. It could be whatever the company's name is, or the apartment locator personal name, so that the apartment locator can get paid for the work that they've done. That's all you gotta do. There's some apartment locators that will pay you $200 or something, or give you a free move, I guess, I don't know, a free move in order for you to use their name. They're like, hey, if you use my name, I'm giving you $200 in a Venmo, or I'm giving you $200 a gift card, or whatever it is. It's like incentives so that you can use them specifically. That is apartment locating. Highly recommend that. It takes the stress off of you. You're gonna get all the recommendations straight to your text messaging. You're communicating with your apartment locator, and there's billions of apartment locators around here. So I highly recommend, if one girl or a boy does not work for you, check out another person. In that link that they send you, you can like which apartments that you would like to tour, and then they'll create a whole new search for you based on the recommendations that are based off of the recommendation that you liked, I guess. So I sent you all these things, I liked it, and I can create a whole new search with the things that you liked that are very similar to what you liked. That makes sense. Before you do all this stuff, book that one-way ticket, because honestly, that one-way ticket will definitely help you expedite your search, expedite your move. Like, you have a time frame. So go ahead, be like, hey, I'm moving to Dallas in 2 months. I'm gonna buy my ticket. That allows me 60 days to get all my affairs in order. I need to get, need to sell some stuff. I need to move. I need to figure out, you know, what's gonna happen with my car. Am I driving there or am I flying there? Like, just go ahead, book that ticket. I did a plane ticket. I did a one-way plane ticket. I didn't have nothing with me besides a dog and a suitcase. Book that one-way ticket, and it definitely changed my life, and it helped with the trajectory. I can't say no. I paid for my one-way ticket. There's no backing down after that. The only thing that I can say is I have a wonderful family, and if anything ever happened, I can always go back home. Like, it's never been life or death. I gotta just go, and there's no turning back. If I ever needed to turn back, I could, but I don't want to. I want to just continue moving forward. But yeah, so highly recommend booking that one-way ticket, making sure that all your affairs in order, have a time frame, set a goal, set some type of goal that is 1 or 2 months in advance, nothing more than that, 1 or 2 months in advance, and make sure that you are doing everything you can to make it on your plane. I learned that Dallas is not as cheap as I thought it was. So when you come from places like California, Dallas is extremely cheap, extremely cheap. But once you live here for a while, It's not that cheap. It's okay. It is cheaper than living in California. All apartments are like cheaper than living in California, but it's not as cheap once you actually get here. It's cool. I'm happy. I love that I'm not paying California prices, but it's really not as cheap as I thought it was. Prices are increasing. There's huge migration from California to Dallas, from other states to Dallas. Texas specifically, lots of people are up and moving, so it's driving the prices up. A lot of Texans are kind of not really mad, but just like, oh my God, all these people are moving here and it's driving our prices up, which I would be upset too. That's kind of what happened in California. Everybody moved to California, all the prices went up. Everybody moved to Atlanta, all the prices went up. Everybody moved to Las Vegas, all the prices went up. So Dallas is just another move. I honestly think Idaho is gonna be the next one, and maybe I'll hop on that bandwagon. Prices are very, very affordable. Gas is affordable. I think I went over that in my last video. Gas is affordable. Smaller cities are still a lot cheaper. So getting out of Dallas and moving along the perimeter of Dallas, you're still gonna find pretty decent rent. Dallas specifically has very high rent. So people have been moving to McKinney, people have been moving to Plano, Frisco, Little Elm, Las Colinas, outskirts of Dallas, so that they can still have cheaper rent. They can live in the suburbs as well. There's not really much suburbs in Dallas. Everything is kind of like city. Even in Highland Park, I find that if you go down the neighborhood streets, it's still like, I would never want my kids to play on these streets. Like, the streets are very, very close together and people do speed. So it's still kind of like a city, but you have a really big house, if that makes sense. I don't know. But anyway, so Highland Park is a really great area. Very affluent, I would say, a very affluent area. Just, it still gives city vibes. Like, I'm in the city, like right on the other side, people are speeding. Right on the other side, there's construction. Right on the other side, there was like potholes and lots of city traffic. So a lot of people are moving to the outskirts, and that's driving up the prices on the outskirts as well. But a lot of people are moving to the outskirts of Dallas so that they can get the suburban vibe, more luxurious apartments, or the same luxurious apartments that you would get in Dallas, just for a little bit of a cheaper price. What I've noticed about Dallas that's different from California is there's a deposit, which every apartment complex has a deposit, but I feel like the apartments that I got in California, it's always been first and last month's rent. So if my apartment is $1,800, then in order to move in, I need to pay $3,600 for my apartment in order to move in. But in Dallas, I've noticed that the deposit does not really exceed $500. So I pay $500 plus my first month's rent, which knocks down that price quite a bit to get into your apartment. So it's a lot more affordable to get into your apartment. So I do like that about Dallas. That is a pro. All the apartments that I have looked at and researched, the deposit can be anywhere from 2 to 5 if you have an okay credit. And if you have like bad credit or not so great credit, they might charge you an extra deposit. I had no work history when I first moved out here from like I was an entrepreneur. So it wasn't a whole lot of work history that I can claim. It didn't look like I made a whole lot of money. And then I had just gotten my job as a server. So I was only working for 2 months. And I didn't even have like 3 months worth of bank statements to show them. So I ended up having to pay an extra deposit to get into my apartment. It's a non-refundable deposit to get into your apartment. And I've been here for 2 years, have no problem paying rent, perfectly fine because everything is perfect. But yeah, so I did pay an extra deposit just because I didn't have any rental history. I didn't have any, anything that I needed to have here. I just fresh moved out here. So fresh off the plane, moved out here, and I had only been out here April, May, a month and a half. Been out here a month and a half, and I signed a lease on an apartment, so I did have to pay an extra deposit. So that's the only time that it'd be a little bit more, but normally, like, I have great rental history, so this next apartment, I shouldn't have any problems. I will keep you guys updated. I'll probably take you guys along on apartment hunting. And there's always gonna be a dog deposit and dog rent as well. So if you have any, I say dogs, I have a dog, but if you have any animals, it's like a dog deposit, and some of them are close to the amount of your deposit. So it's like $400 plus pet rent. So keep that in mind as well. Currently at this apartment complex that I'm living in, the pet deposit was $400 and my pet rent was $25 a month. So adding that onto my rent. Let's talk about areas. Areas that you can move into that are great areas, or just areas in general, just so you can get the name of certain areas in Dallas that are pretty popular, and I might forget some, and I might miss out on some, or I might list some that may not be that popular. But if you guys are watching this, you can Google the area, you can look at it, you can do some research on it, you can type it into TikTok and see what the people on TikTok are saying about the area. But I just want to give you guys the names of the areas in Dallas and surrounding areas, okay? So we have South Lake. That's where I started. I started in Keller. So Keller, South Lake area is pretty close to each other. That is kind of where all the doctors and the plastic surgeons and really affluent people live, is Keller, South Lake area. Yeah, that's a good area. The only thing I didn't like about that area is that since I came from suburban and I was looking for city life, I didn't like it. The place that I stayed in, I stayed with a couple of coworkers for about 2 weeks. The place that I stayed was, it took a mile for me to get to the street. So when I was driving, it took like a whole mile for me to get out of the neighborhood, if that makes sense. I didn't like that. I just wanted something that was close. I wanted walkability. I wanted to walk down the street and be able to grab a cup of coffee and things like that. So I wanted to live in Dallas. So South Lake, Richardson is a really great area. It's on the outskirts of Dallas. You also have Highland Park. Highland Park has all the Louis, Gucci, Fendi, Prada, Dior, Christian Louboutin. They have that whole entire shopping center right there. It's off of Mockingbird. Love that area. Lots of places to work there as well. Like, a lot of people love going to Lounge 31. It's one of my favorite places. Bistro 31. You also have Honor Bar. You also have like a juice shop over there. You have Mi Casino, I think. That one's a really good place as well. So there's lots of food places. I think Sadel's, a lot of people love their matcha. I've never tried Sadel's matcha, but a lot of people say that it's good. I don't know. So Highland Park, Plano, Frisco, McKinney, those are all like north outskirts of Dallas. McKinney, I would say, is like 40 minutes away from Dallas. And then Frisco would probably be like 30, Plano would probably be 20, just depending on what part of Dallas you're starting from. You also have the medical district part of Dallas, which is, there's a couple of medical districts. You have a medical district area. I live in the medical district of Dallas. Not a fan, not a fan, but it's okay. You also have the Colony. That one's really cool. It's north outskirts of Dallas. You have downtown Dallas, you have uptown Dallas, you have farmers market area. The farmers market too, a lot of people love it, and a lot of people, I've been getting 50-50. A lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it. I think the girls hate it more, only because I would say a lot of homeless people congregate over there. It's not as clean. Anything downtown, not as clean. So yeah, downtown farmers market. You have East Dallas. You have Louisville, which is a good 25 minutes away from Dallas. You have Fort Worth, which is a good 40 minutes away from Dallas, or probably 30, just depends on what time you leave Dallas. Arlington is another one. That's where Rangers play, the Texas Rangers baseball, and that's also where the Cowboys play. That's where their stadiums. They both have a stadium literally right next to each other. You can literally walk there. You can walk across the street to both of the stadiums, which is actually really cool. In Arlington. You have Garland. I'm thinking about moving to Garland. There's a house or a townhouse I'm thinking about looking at. So like I said, I'm doing my apartment hunting. Garland is one of the places that I'm looking at. Plano is one of the places that I'm looking at. McKinney is one of the places that I'm looking at. Frisco as well. So yeah, those are the places that I've been looking in. Oh, Addison is another good one. Addison is on the very, very outskirts of Dallas. White Rock area is really cool. You have the lake there. A lot of people love White Rock. There's a lot of big houses out there. I drove around White Rock Lake. Lots of big houses. I'm not sure what the apartments or anything look like, but I definitely like the White Rock area. Deep Ellum is very, very artsy, but at night it turns into Gotham City. There's no Batman saving anybody. It just turns straight into Gotham City. So highly recommend that. It's cool in the daytime. At night on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think stay inside. Let's just say all else fails. End of the day, if you still want to move to Dallas, I highly recommend either Airbnb, and you do not have to get a whole Airbnb. There is room for rent Airbnbs that you can literally put the time frame out for like a month and rent it for a whole entire month for the same price as a cheap apartment. Maybe one whole month is like $1,000. It comes with the bed. It comes with probably access to the kitchen. It probably comes with a own little mini fridge and a little TV and your own private bathroom. If all else fails, you can do a room for rent with Airbnb or Facebook Marketplace, or I'm not sure if we trust Craigslist, but you could probably find something, room for rent, and live here while you play around and look at different areas. I will say, you need a car here, but for a year and a half, I did not have a car. Actually, a whole year. So I moved out here April 4th, April 4th, 2023. April 30th, 2024 is when I bought my car. You don't need a car. You can definitely make it work without a car, but a car is very helpful. It is not really a New York-like type city where like, oh, let me just hop on the bus or the subway or the metro or whatever. It's not that. There is buses, there's trains. I moved to Deep Ellum. The bus stop was like maybe 10 minutes away, and it took me literally 5 minutes away from my job. So that was a cool little situation. That was my first time ever riding a bus in my whole entire life. Never rode the bus, but I got a little bus pass. I think I still have money on my bus pass too. I got a little bus pass. I got familiar with the stops. I knew which bus I was supposed to get on. Like, I was in that thing. You couldn't tell me nothing. I knew the times the bus was going to leave, all of that. So it was kind of fun. I learned a little bit about the city in that aspect. Waited a year, got my car. But yeah, my whole goal was to find an apartment close to my job. So I had got a job while I was living with my friend. I needed an apartment close to my job. Got one that was 8 minutes away, and I just Ubered back and forth. On the cheapest days, it was $4. On the most expensive days, it was like a $10 one way. Just the car market is pretty expensive. So I went, got myself a little Honda because I knew if I ever needed anything, Honda parts are easily and readily available. I can go anywhere and get a Honda part, not a problem. I'm just a girl. I just wanted to make it super simple for myself. And knowing that I came out here with nothing, I didn't want to go put myself in debt with $1 million car payment and $1 million maintenance. If I ever needed to fix anything on my own, I can Google how to fix a Honda. It's super simple. So I got me a Honda 2021. I went to CarMax, but I highly recommend getting yourself familiar with Dallas first and then getting yourself a car. It just makes it a whole lot more, I guess, easier. Get your finances in order, get your apartment, stay in your apartment, Uber and Lyft where you have no commitment. When I Ubered and Lyfted every single day for the past year, my Uber and Lyft at most $300. At most for the month, $300 at most. And I did have friends that pick me up, take me places, but every day to work, I tried my best to calculate how much I was doing in Ubers, and it was literally $300 every single month. So I think I'm gonna end the video here. I do have a whole lot more I could tell you guys. I actually think I want to make another video of pros and cons of the apartment complex that I live in currently and what I'm looking for. I want to do a whole series, like a whole moving series. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see, what areas you guys want me to talk about more, what areas you guys want to see. Maybe I'll take you to that specific area. You guys can see it for yourself. Yeah, my name is Ariana. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.